When you say formal logic, so you understand how they use symbolic language to explain logical structures and logical theorems, right? Premises and conclusions. You understand? You studied that properly. Fine. Using those, can you have within your paradigm of this logic contradictions? Do you know the answer? Of course not. Because you said you...
Our local universe, as we know, came into time and space.
What do you mean our local universe? Do you know another one?
I think theoretically.
No. You're talking about data. Theoretically, there's so many other things possible. So you're now going in realms of possibilities. You know what? A green elephant may have created this universe.
So, we cannot exclude the green elephant.
You cannot exclude anything then.
Possibilities.
Yeah?
Are all
Okay.
possibilities.
So how would you use logic to exclude possibilities?
How do you use logic? Reasonably conclude?
No, give me an example. Why would a flying spaghetti monster not be the cause of our universe? It cannot be the cause of our universe.
Demonstrate a flying spaghetti monster.
Can you demonstrate a green elephant?
No.
Right. So why is that a possibility then?
Can we demonstrate Allah?
No. I'm not talking about my belief. I'm just questioning how you would come to the conclusion. You see, if you try to deflect, how you would come to believe by examining your mind, then you haven't really thought about yours properly.
I'm examining all possibilities.
No. Let's examine your possibilities of knowing the reality. So a green elephant, you would exclude that possibility, would you?
Logically.
Right. So what would you include as a possibility about the originator of our universe?
I don't know.
Can our universe be itself the cause of its existence?
I just don't know.
You see, there are many things we don't know, but we can exclude by logic and rationality, right?
And rationality.
That's why I asked you, did you study formally logic? You said yes. So using logic formally, you can exclude many things. You can exclude, for example, our marriage bachelor doesn't exist.
A paradox.
It's not a paradox.
Does a marriage bachelor exist?
Can it exist logically?
Can it exist logically? No.
Exactly. So there are many things you can exclude.
Contradiction.
Yeah. So because logic has...
Do contradictions exist?
No, I'm asking you, do you accept in your logical paradigms or framework that you cannot have these contradictions? What kind of logic do you accept? You said formally. You said you have studied logic formally.
Premises.
Fair enough.
Premises.
No. When you say formal logic, so you understand how they use symbolic language to explain logical structures and logical theorems, right? Premises and conclusions. You understand? You studied that properly. Fine. Using those, can you have within your paradigm of this logic contradictions? Do you know the answer? Of course not. Because you said you studied it.
Contradictions exist.
I'm asking about logic, not about contradictions. If you have,
Well, that's the problem.
if you have accepted,
That's the problem, that contradictions do exist, but in a logical framework, no.
so what is logic for then? If you're going to use a set of tools like logic, and then you allow the possibility of contradictions, then what are you using the logic for in the first place?
That's the problem. That's the big problem.
It's not a problem. You're not actually using the tool in its appropriate sense. Logic
There's
has to
something
be applied.
outside the realm of logic.
How-
With a contradiction.
How can you use logic and yet you still believe in contradiction?
Once again, do contradictions exist?
Okay. Do you exist and not exist at the same time?
I'm sorry?
Do you exist and not exist at the same time in reality? That's the contradiction. Is that true? Can it be true?
Can it be true? No. It's one of those ones.
Come on. You studied formal logic.
But it's hard to define when you get down to the nitty-gritty. Can something...
Which logicians have you studied in particular?
Off my head.
Because I can ask you some of these logical structures they put through. I mean, give me some examples.
Nietzsche?
Right. What did Nietzsche say about logics and contradiction?
So I can't like recall like that. But
Do you
what I'm
remember
saying
any?
is-
Do you remember any philosophers who have given you a logical framework and what that framework is? Anyone in particular that you remember? It's often quite easy to say I have studied formal logic.
It's just that I don't come here every week and
Fair enough.
yeah.
Fair
so,
enough.
So I have to go back.
So let's forget, because it's probably difficult for you to remember. When we say you exist and not exist in reality, can it be true? You either exist or you don't. It's a binary option. Am I speaking to am I speaking to non-existence right now? Or are you something that exists?
No, for this argument's sake, no.
So you cannot be existent and non-existent at the same time.
No.
They're mutually exclusive. It cannot be true. Right. So you don't believe in contradictions then? Then maybe you are non-existent.
Well, in that simulated paradigm, I don't know.
That's why we need to come down to reality. What we saw, like, let's start with very simple, basic things.
Yes.
You know you exist, and you know that you do not exist.
I think.
If you think, then you must be in existence.
Go on. Yes.
Yeah? I think, therefore I exist. If you didn't think, then maybe that's one thing of saying, okay, are you really in existence or not? But the fact that you are able to think is an evidence to you, and an evidence against your other belief, that you do exist.
For the sake of argument.
Okay, for the sake of argument, I'm going to end this conversation because you don't exist. Okay, take care.